end of the year is beckoning and federal lawmakers are racing against the clock to get some critical legislations passed. And what legislation can be more critical than the appropriation bill for the country? Hello and welcome. I'm Lanre Lasese and this is your legislative program, The Gavel. Now, as we count down to the end of the year, what were the legislators able to achieve this week? That is what will form the focus of our package today. Let's start with the work being done on the 2018 appropriation bill by the lawmakers.
It's been a race against time for the National Assembly as lawmakers try to pass the medium-term expenditure framework as well as the 2018 budget. Both chambers had slated the passage of the MTEF for the last week of November, but that didn't happen as it was put on hold by Parliament, pending the outcome of the OPEC meeting concerning the oil production quota for oil-producing countries. The National Assembly is increasing the crude oil benchmark price from $45 to $47 per barrel. They are also retaining the 2.3 million barrels per day crude oil production proposed by the executive, as well as the exchange rate of 305 naira to a dollar, inflation rate of 12.4%, and GDP growth rate of 3.5%.
Our recommendation of the Joint Committee is the adoption of 1.699 trillion new net borrowing for 2018 as proposed by the executive, but we insist that they should be on project-tied basis.
The Senate, however, is inserting a somewhat controversial clause into the 2018 Appropriation Act.
In order for the Senate to stamp its feet and ensure financial prudence and ensure the execution of the intendment that necessitated the arrival for the benchmark. In the Appropriation Act itself, sir, we can insert a clause that will make it illegal and unlawful for the executive to tamper with anything in excess of what we have said as benchmark without having to come back to the National Assembly.
In the House of Representatives, the chairman of the Committee on Finance started with the report of the committee.
That 2.3 million barrels per day be returned as proposed by the executive for 2018 budget. That $47 per barrel as a benchmark for the fiscal year 2018 be adopted. This is in consideration of the current positive outlook in the global oil market and expectation that OPEC and other allied oil partnership countries will sustain oil productions, cut deals into 2018. It is important to note that the oil cut off by the OPEC has excluded Nigeria and Libya. That 305 naira be adopted per dollar as proposed by the executive for the 2018 budget be adopted. It is also advised that CBN should adopt measures to close that gap between the parallel market and the official exchange rate. The projected 5.279 trillion for non-oil revenue in 2018 be adopted. In addition, revenue-generating agencies should also intensify effort on collection and measures that will reduce revenue loss.
The Speaker sought clarity on whether funds recovered as part of ongoing investigations into financial crime will help finance the 2018 budget.
It's been said or touted occasionally that they will use those recovered funds in funding the budget. Did you at any time in the course of your exercise inquire into the whereabouts of this money and whether we are plowing it back through the budget or otherwise?
We assume that part of the recovery fund was used for the funding on 2017 budget. As for 2018 budget, there's nowhere where it is mentioned that recovery funds are going to be used for funding of 2018 budget.
Finally, both chambers concluded debate on the 2018 budget and it passed through second reading.
Those in favor that this bill is brought secretary say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Senate President Bukola Saraki has urged the Committee on Appropriation to submit the report on the 2018 budget on December the 19th.
Colleagues, let me just make some comments on this. Thank all for the contribution. We know that the timetable is very, very tight, as we will be suspending plenary for us to be able to start the defense of this budget, with committee chairmen and members should please ensure that you keep to the timetable. And let me on this one make a general warning to all heads of MDAs to ensure that they respect strictly the letter of invitation and timetable. This is not time for excuses for ministers or heads of parastatals to be traveling and not be able to attend defense. We don't have the time. It's a very short timetable that we have, and I expect all the MDAs to respect the invitation to be there on time so that the committees can wrap up and be able to present their report by the time we come back.
It will be interesting to see how this deadline will be achieved, as all committees are expected to meet with the MDAs and report back to the Committee on Appropriations to collate the respective budgets and present an appropriation bill.